What has it been like for your perspective watching the Dagestanis ascend from Khabib? The record is relatively dominant.
I love it.
On the MMA scene.
They work hard. And I think, when did they come to your gym the first time? Like what year? Khabib came in like 2013 for the first time. But he came by himself. Came to AK by himself. It would be him, Islam Makhachev, and Islam Makhachev. Those guys would come, and you just saw right away they were special. They are seeing the fruits of their labor. Hey, Aljo, they have no choice though. They have to make it. And when they do, they make a completely different life for everyone they love.
Daniel Cormier recently shared some surprising insights from Islam Makhachev's training camp as he prepares for his upcoming bout against Jack Della Maddalena. The former two-division UFC champion was left stunned by what he witnessed during the camp.
JDM don't wrestle, but he was defending well, and he puts damage on him.
Off rip.
Starts putting damage on him. And he can box.
So how do you see that fight with him and Islam? Does he have the ability to beat a guy like Islam?
He'll get takedown attempts coming at him very early. This time. The last fight, he didn't have to deal with that when he was fresh. If Islam can start to pressure him early and take him down early, or even just make him wrestle, he might struggle. I don't know that he's ever felt anything like he's going to feel, because it's not going to be double legs and single leg with Islam. It's going to be him playing with his feet, tripping him, moving around on the octagon side, doing things that he don't recognize as freely.
But you didn't answer the question.
The problem is, like, I can only give you that because I can't truly make a prediction. The job doesn't allow it.
When Daniel Cormier checked the betting lines, he was surprised to see Islam Makhachev listed as a strong favorite heading into the fight. In his view, the matchup wasn't nearly as lopsided as the odds suggested. After all, Jack Della Maddalena had recently secured a big win over Belal Muhammad earlier in the year, the performance that not only earned him a title shot, but also solidified his place among the top contenders at welterweight. That 5-round battle showcased his composure, technical skill, and danger in every aspect of the fight. Despite that impressive display, it seemed that Makhachev's dominant status as the reigning lightweight champ was still overshadowing Jack's rising momentum.
Islam's choke must be otherworldly. I talked to DC about it, and I said, hey man, I go, his fucking squeeze must, he goes, oh, dope.
Never felt someone control me in that way. Nobody's ever done this to me.
I had him demonstrate a choke on me. I thought it was gonna be fun. They're like, show me how you do that, show me how you do it. He goes, dude, when he grabbed a hold of me, I was like, oh, this guy's gonna choke me.
There's been moments where we're in practice, and I'm going with Khabib or Islam, and I'm the big guy. So generally, a smaller guy gets on top of you. When you decide it's over, you just throw him off you. I'm grappling with Islam once, and I try to throw him off, but he's still there.
Daniel Cormier had good reason to approach the fight with some doubt. Having observed Islam Makhachev closely during his move up to welterweight, he noticed the Dagestani fighter had added noticeable size to his frame, but in Cormier's eyes, sheer size wouldn't be enough to get past someone like Jack Della Maddalena. Jack wasn't just a typical striker, he was one of the most well-rounded athletes in the entire division. Physically strong, mentally tough, and armed with excellent takedown defense, he had the tools to seriously challenge even elite-level grapplers.
Jack Della Maddalena is a great fight. Della Maddalena surprised me in this fight with Belal Muhammad. Like, he just showed that he's much better than people gave him credit for. So well-rounded, so skilled. Makhachev, though, bigger, will have an ability to not be cutting all the weight. He'll be more full. He'll be more, like, fresh. I'm interested. I think that it'll come down to the wrestling of Islam versus Jack's takedown defense and how stingy is he going to be able to be with Islam? Because when Islam can take guys down early, they really struggle. The only time a fight even looks competitive is when they can defend takedowns and he spends large amounts of time on his feet, which he does really well too.
When it came to early opinions on the matchup, Ian Machado Gary was among the first to share his thoughts, and his perspective offered a slightly different take. While he acknowledged Makhachev's well-rounded skill set and composure, Gary leaned toward Jack Della Maddalena for one specific reason. Natural size. Jack was a true welterweight, built for the 170-pound division, whereas Islam had spent the majority of his career cutting down to 155. In Gary's view, that physical difference could play a major role once the cage door closed. He believed the Aussie's punching, power, and sharp striking could tip the scales, especially if Jack was able to keep the fight on the feet long enough to find his range and rhythm.
Who do you think wins, Jack or Islam?
It's such a tough one to talk about. Islam is phenomenally good everywhere. Size matters. when you're talking about an extra 15 pounds, when you look at the size of Volkanovski versus Jack Della Maddalena, there's a big size discrepancy. And Hulk gave you a good fight. And then Dustin Poirier, it wasn't absolutely completely dominant by his chance. It was a tough fight. Size is going to play a huge part, even on the ground. I feel like Jack could get done with just contained boxing and weak takedown on defense. But I can absolutely see Islam coming in and doing what Islam does. He's gone out there, just looks like the phenomenal mixed martial artist he is.
Carlos Prates shared a similar outlook. Even though he was coming off a loss to Ian Gary, he still had faith in Jack Della Maddalena's ability to get the job done. What impressed Prates most was Jack's consistent growth, particularly in his defensive wrestling. The way Maddalena neutralized Belal Muhammad's grappling-heavy strategy gave Prates reason to believe Jack could hold his own against Makhachev as well. He didn't see it as an easy matchup, but he felt that with the right game plan, Jack could drag Islam into the later rounds and potentially edge out a hard-fought decision.
The main event is also in your weight class, JDM and Islam. Who do you think is going to win that?
I think the favorite is Islam, but Jackie show like he grew up a lot as a fighter. Since his top fight now, he was a long time without fight, almost 2 years, and he got really good skills to fight Belal Muhammad, defense takedowns. So I think he's gonna win.
You think Jack is gonna win?
Yeah.
Wow. You think he wins a decision, or do you think he stops him?
I think decision is really hard fight.
You think Islam stays at 170 or he goes back?
If he loses, I don't know. It depends how he feels during the fight. How close is gonna be the fight, you know?
How do you think Islam versus JDM goes down? Honestly, I think Islam probably take it down. Like, Islam's wrestling really good. Like, even with me, if I like really commit to it, I take it down. Their team's so good at like hacking it, get it planned and sticking to it.
You said that you kind of abandoned the game plan a little. Do you think if you got a rematch, you would change the game plan a bit?
No, I mean, honestly, I think I won three rounds, but you have to go out there and make it more clear. When you get into the cage and you're fighting, right? You get into that, oh, like, all right, I feel like striking. Let's keep going. I was doing well with it. Let's keep going. If your coach is trying to get you to focus on the game plan again, it's like, nah, man, I'm doing well with it. You're thinking you're doing better than you are. Every fight, you gain something from it, right? This fight, I gained something.
Max Holloway approached the fight from a psychological angle, emphasizing the mental side of the matchup. He pointed out that one of Jack Della Maddalena's most overlooked strengths is his fight IQ. According to Holloway, Jack's ability to read his opponents and make real-time adjustments mid-fight is what makes him especially dangerous. It's that adaptability. Holloway noted that adds an unpredictable edge to the bout. Both fighters are known for making smart adjustments on the fly, and for Max, that high-level mental game from both sides is what makes this clash one of the most compelling matchups of the year.
I've seen Islam, bro. He's a big guy. He's sucking out a lot of weight to get to 55. I think he might start doing better at 70. Problem is, though, Jack is special. We're gonna see just how special he is if he beats Islam Jack, #1 pound. Wow, that's impressive, you know. I'm leaning towards Islam, bro. Oh, really? You know, but I really think it's gonna be a tough fight for him, but a great fight, man.
Jack was able to defend takedown attempts by Belal.
Belal has the best cardio in MMA, but Belal doesn't have Islam's technique. Not same technique, not same. Very good, very aggressive. Belal never stops. A dog. Attack. But Islam is like smart, man. Boom. Yeah. Islam's level of wrestling is above. The stand-up game is improving. I don't think he can go stand-up in the beginning with Jack. Jack has way better hands, way better range, faster, stronger. But as the rounds go on later and later, he can do it.
Jorge Masvidal offered a more cautionary viewpoint when assessing Islam Makhachev's move up to welterweight. In his opinion, Islam might be stepping into dangerous territory. Masvidal's logic was straightforward. At lightweight, Islam often held the physical edge, usually being the stronger and more dominant fighter. But at 170 pounds, that size advantage disappears. He'll be facing naturally bigger opponents who hit harder and can absorb more punishment. Masvidal leaned toward Jack Della Maddalena in this matchup, pointing to Jack's fearlessness, aggressive fighting style, and proven ability to step up on short notice as key factors that could lead to a potential upset.
Islam is working very hard. He's being saying vocal that he wants to go up to 170. I think he's a big boy. He killed himself to make 55. I think that's the right division for Islam. He just tweeted something after the fight that he will not vacate the title, and then he vacated the title. I don't know, but probably that was in the negotiation. Yeah, I like him moving up. Proving himself. He's #1 pound for pound right now. It's a good fight. Jack and Islam closer than people think, especially with Jack Della Maddalena doing a lot of training with Volk, with Craig Jones, those guys that kind of back the Islam on that first Volk fight. I think they're gonna have a lot of info, a lot of study, a lot of answers. It's closer than people think, this fight. I really like this fight. I don't have time right now. I didn't have time to dig deep a little too much in that fight, but I think it's way closer than people think. And JDM has a clear shot on
Gilbert Burns, a fighter who understands firsthand the challenges of switching weight classes, offered a more balanced perspective on the matchup. He pointed out that competing at welterweight might actually work in Islam Makhachev's favor, since it would free him from the grueling weight cuts at 155, cuts that may have drained his energy in past performances. At the same time, Burns highlighted how dangerous Jack Della Maddalena's training environment had become. With elite minds like Craig Jones and Alexander Volkanovski in his corner, Jack was receiving world-class preparation for what could be the biggest fight of his career. For Burns, this wasn't a one-sided affair. Both men brought different, yet equally dangerous tools into the octagon, making the outcome anything but predictable.
Yeah, who do you think wins that fight between Islam and Jack Della Maddalena?
Well, first off, I gotta say, if I was Shavkat Rakhmonov or Ian Gary or somebody that is right there who's really worked hard to get there, I'd be pretty pissed. Because, you know, this guy, JDM, just got the title, and then he's giving somebody else a shot at what I've earned the right to have, you know, which is the title shot. Like, give JDM a shot at, you know, give him 1 or 2 more guys. If he beats them, then give him somebody outside the division. But I would be kind of pissed. I would be kind of upset that they're giving this guy immediately somebody from 155 division. Now, I think it's a very tough fight for Islam Makhachev. Bigger guy, somebody who won the title from somebody with a similar style in Bilal Muhammad. I do believe Islam Makhachev striking is a lot better than Bilal Muhammad's, but their pressure, their cardio, their wrestling background, fairly similar. Obviously, I think one would be better than the other, but he's faced somebody a lot exactly like him. So I think it would be a tough fight for Islam for sure.
Stephen Thompson analyzed the matchup from a timing perspective. While he acknowledged Jack Della Maddalena's talent and self-belief, he cautioned that things might be progressing a little too quickly for the young contender jumping. Straight into a title fight so early in his rise could prove risky, especially with other top-tier welterweights like Shavkat Rakhmonov and Ian Gary still waiting for their opportunities. Thompson didn't question Jack's potential. In fact, he praised it. But he also highlighted the pressure that comes with climbing the ranks too fast. According to Thompson, this fight would be a true test of whether Jack is ready not just physically, but mentally, for the spotlight and expectations that come with fighting at the very top.
How do you think the fight against Islam goes? I think it's a super difficult fight. Obviously, he's faced Volk twice. So the first one, very competitive. And now he's facing a guy that's best scrambling ability, period, in all of MMA. I think that's what Bilal struggled with. So I think the size difference is going to be quite a lot than people think. And we've seen how Volk did on the ground, how much Islam struggled with him. Jack beats Islam, puts Islam in a typical position. Does he now go back to him to fight Ilya after he...
Craig Jones, the grappling specialist who had previously collaborated with Alexander Volkanovski to prepare for Islam Makhachev, was now directly involved in Jack Della Maddalena's training camp. With his deep understanding of Makhachev's ground game, Jones's expertise could prove crucial. He had been working hard to enhance Jack's takedown defense and his ability to escape difficult positions on the mat. If Della Maddalena could maintain the fight on his feet and avoid being controlled on the ground, his striking ability might very well tip the scales in his favor.
Islam relinquish his belt and go up to 170. Got JDM taking on Islam Makhachev. I still think Islam's skill for skill is just so high level. For him to go out there and do what he did against Bilal was very impressive. Made that Islam fight more interesting. If JDM can shut him down and throw those hands, but Islam's boxing's underrated. I agree. Slick. His kickboxing, his timing, like he's a high-level black belt in every aspect of MMA. We'll give Jack versus Islam, I think, is huge. Not as big as Ilya versus Islam, but who knows? Maybe they both win and Islam comes back down to 55 and then fights even bigger.
Shauna Ali viewed the matchup through a broader perspective. For him, this fight was about much more than just the title. It had the potential to reshape the UFC's future landscape. he believed the result could pave the way for high-profile future matchups, including a possible showdown between Islam Makhachev and Ilia Topuria. Ali also praised Jack Della Madalena's aggressive and unpredictable fighting style. If Jack could successfully defend against the early takedown attempts and maintain distance, Ali felt the fight could quickly become a wild back-and-forth battle, with explosive moments that might end the fight in an instant.
Yeah, it's so hard because you never know when people are changing weight classes. But in lightweight, you know, Islam looks like unbeatable. It's just like maybe the pound-for-pound best. It's just so insanely good. But can he do it in a weight class above? I'm not sure. Really, really hard to predict a fight like that. I think I still have to say Islam. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, we need to see a few more fights with Jack. He looked amazing against Bilal, but yeah, I don't know, man. It's something about Islam. It's just so good.
Jack Hermansson brought a grounded perspective to the growing excitement around the fight. He acknowledged that Islam Makhachev might be one of the best lightweights in the world, but wasn't convinced that dominance would automatically translate to welterweight. Hermansson also recognized Jack Della Madalena's rapid rise, especially following his victory over Belal Muhammad. However, he felt it was still premature to consider Jack among the division's elite. While Hermansson respected Jack's skills, he believed the Aussie needed to prove himself against a few more top contenders before earning a spot at the very top.
Islam versus JDM, what do you make of that? Islam moving up to now welterweight?
Yeah, it's an interesting fight. I'm excited to see how it goes. You know, Islam, is a lightweight. He's going to be a little smaller in the fight, but he's a well-rounded fighter. So, if he's able to take down JDM and control him, he can definitely get the job done. But it's going to be interesting to see how the size advantage plays a difference in the fight.
Who do you favor?
I mean, I seen the odds were pretty big. They favored Makhachev like 3-1. So I guess I got to go with the odds if they're going 3-1. But just because JDM doesn't have good takedown defense, but you never know. It's a fight, and JDM has some good hands, so it should be an exciting fight for the fans.
Colby Covington focused on the physical dynamics of the fight. He pointed out that at lightweight, Islam Makhachev often benefited from a natural size advantage. But moving up to welterweight, that edge disappeared in a division full of larger opponents. Despite that, Covington still gave Islam a slight nod, mainly due to how well-rounded his skill set is. Islam's ability to seamlessly mix striking and grappling gives him a level of control that few fighters can match. Covington also admitted that this matchup is tough to call, and it's precisely that unpredictability that makes the fight so intriguing.
O que você acha que ganha entre o Jack Della Madalena e o Islam? Madalena, ele é jogo muito complicado, porque ele é cara que ele não vem pra te nocautear rápido, ele vem pra te fazer, ele vem te manguando aos poucos. Foi o que ele fez agora no luta contra o Bilal. Só que eu acho que o Islam vai se dar muito bem nessa categoria, né, mano? Agora vai estar muito mais forte, usou um que tipo, ele pode agarrar e botar pra baixo. Eu acho que o Jack Madalena fazer a mesma luta que ele fez, né? Agora contra o Bilal, batendo, movimentando, saindo, machucando, é uma luta, mas se deixar o Islam agarrar e botar pra baixo, é o time.
Finally, Sha'Carri Oliveira offered insight drawn from first-hand experience. Having faced Islam Makhachev before, he understood just how overwhelming the Dagestani's top control can be, a style that wears down both the energy and confidence of his opponents. At the same time, Oliveira appreciated Jack Della Madalena's game plan, patient, precise, and focused on gradually breaking down opponents over time. In Oliveira's view, if Jack could weather the early wrestling storm and extend the fight into the later rounds, he might present Islam with a challenge unlike any he's faced before. The key would be to survive the initial grappling pressure and then dictate the pace on his own terms. Interview 15. When you put all these viewpoints together, one thing stands out. This fight is far from straightforward. It's a showdown between a former lightweight champion venturing into unfamiliar ground and a determined welterweight who's rapidly risen through the ranks with skill and confidence. While the odds might suggest a clear favorite, both fighters and experts predict a much closer contest. Whether it's Islam's technical mastery or Jack's raw explosiveness, each brings unique strengths to the cage as fight night approaches. Fans can only anticipate which fighter's style will shape the next chapter in UFC history.